Democracy is dead. I'm Colby Smith, and as someone a lot smarter than me once said, the measure of a good democracy is in how people respond to paying taxes. Because in theory, you should be happy to pay your taxes because the money's going towards the policies and laws that you help shape and create. That's a democracy. But the reality is, people are pissed off to pay their taxes because there's a huge disconnect between the taxes you're paying and how the money is being sent and the policies they're being spent on. And people have no control over this. You can vote once every 4 years, but Parliament, once it's in, can do what it wants. The policies are shaped by money, corporations, capital is what shapes policy in this country. Voting every 4 years really is just a smokescreen. It's like a fake democracy that's put there just to appease people when really there is no difference. I mean, there is no difference between the party. And there's no consistency. There's no consequence to parties lying. I mean, a party can put out a manifesto and then once it gets in power, it can piss all over that manifesto and you've just got to take it. And usually the opposition is too scared to say anything about it. If I lied in public, if I was to make claims like that in public, I'd get sued for slander or libel. So how come politicians can lie, barefaced lies, and have no consequences to their action? There needs to be some kind of connection between promises and the reality. I know this can't be possible 100% of the time, but 1% of the time would be nice. Capital decides policy in this country, and it has done since Thatcher, since free market became more important than social justice. And this is evident, completely evident, by the fact that the three main parties in this country have just squeezed together. They're basically three cheeks of the same arse. There's no difference between them because capital speaks and business is what rules this country. Not human rights, business rights is what rules this country. All the parties have merged together. This country is built on social justice, on social democracy, but a welfare state isn't profitable. What's profitable is private education, private healthcare, private policing. That's what's profitable, and that's what this country is going to turn into. And you can't really blame the Tory party for this because that's their nature. They're a conservative party. Their principles are free market. What you can blame is the Labour Party. They're supposed to be a movement of workers. And the way that they've just betrayed their roots is just disgusting. There's no Labour movement in this country. To call themselves Labour is the biggest lie of them all. They should change their name to just the Tory Party Mark II, because there's no difference in them. You can't... To be associated with a Labour movement in this country is a dirty word. Unions... If you're part of a union, people frown upon you saying, are you trying to bring the country to its knees? But the rights of a worker are way more important than the rights of a business. The social justice is way more important than the GDP of a country. The GDP doesn't affect me and you. GDP affects bankers. It affects the FTSE 100. It affects the businessman. It doesn't affect me and you. There's just a huge disconnect between what the people want and what the people are getting. And they're tricked into believing this is what they want. They're tricked into believing that privatising the NHS is a good idea, that selling raw mail for a huge profit is a good idea, when really it's a good idea for the businessman. It is a bad idea for the public. Capital speaks in this country, and it is a fucking damn shame.